Alright, picture this. When I ask who's the most clutch player in football history, you're probably thinking Messi, Ronaldo, Drogba, maybe even Sergio Aguero. What if I told you that a different name, a player with fewer goals and less fanfare, deserves that title? Today, we're talking about Divock Origi. And yeah, he might not be a household name worldwide, but his timing? Impeccable. This is the story of how he became one of the most legendary clutch players of all time. Now let's be real, players like Ronaldo and Drogba are known for stepping up in big moments, sure. But what sets Origi apart is that he wasn't putting up monster stats every game. In fact, he was considered, well, average, a C-tier striker to most. Yet when the pressure was on, Origi became a superhero for his team. He's the definition of a clutch player, not someone who scores all the time, but someone who scores at the right time. So how did he get here? Origi's story starts before he was even born. Football ran in the family. His dad, Mike Origi, was a professional player in Belgium, playing for Genk and representing the Kenyan national team. Mike was known for his own clutch moments, and his influence on Divock's career was massive. Genk's first league title was thanks in part to his dad's goals that either won games or tied them up. So you could say Divock inherited his clutch gene, and it didn't stop with his dad. His uncle and cousins also played professionally. Football was the family business. Growing up, Origi trained at Genk's academy, where his father had played. His early years were steady, no instant stardom, just consistent progress. By 15, his talent became impossible to ignore, and clubs all over Europe started approaching him. Even Manchester United came knocking. But in the end, Origi chose Lille, drawn by the fact that Eden Hazard, a fellow Belgian, had also made his mark there. The chance to follow in Hazard's footsteps was too tempting. At 17, Origi made his pro debut, and in true Origi style, he scored in the 68th minute of his first match, saving Lille from a loss. This was the first of many clutch moments, and it was just the start. By the end of that season, Origi had become one of Lille's go-to subs, and the following year, he was already a permanent part of the first team, scoring critical goals right from the start. Origi's rise continued, and he soon found himself on the Belgian national team radar. Then came the 2014 World Cup. At only 18, Origi wasn't expected to be a major force. Most thought he'd just get some experience, but fate had other plans. When Christian Benteke got injured, Origi stepped up. In his first game, he came on when Belgium was 1-0 down to Algeria. Though he didn't directly score, his movement created the space for the team to secure a comeback. But that was just the warm-up. In the next match against Russia, with Belgium tied 0-0, Origi scored a stunning goal, becoming Belgium's youngest World Cup scorer and the first Kenyan to score in the tournament. The Macarena erupted, and just like that, Origi was a World Cup hero. Liverpool, who had been tracking him for years, signed him for €13 million after the World Cup. But things weren't exactly smooth sailing from there. Origi had his moments, but there were a lot of slumps too. At one point, he even went 6 months without a goal. That season, he was named in the worst team of the year by some media, but despite it all, he was still finding ways to score when it mattered, keeping his reputation as a clutch player. Origi's luck changed when Jurgen Klopp took over Liverpool. With Rodgers, he'd had limited playing time, but Klopp saw potential. Under Klopp, Origi went from bench warmer to key sub. In one standout game, he scored a hat-trick against Southampton, and 2 games later, he scored another critical goal. Liverpool fans loved him, and though he faced injuries and tough competition from players like Firmino, Coutinho and Sturridge, fans kept calling for Origi to come back. Eventually, he did, scoring 6 goals in 7 games during April, including 2 in a Europa League quarter-final that saved Liverpool from the brink of elimination. It seemed like Origi was finally on his way to becoming a serious world-class striker, but then, during the Merseyside derby, disaster struck. Origi was hit with a brutal tackle by Everton's Funes Mori, a blow that kept him sidelined for months and left his future uncertain. When he returned, he wasn't fully fit and struggled to find his place among Liverpool's now iconic attacking trio, Coutinho, Sturridge and later Salah. But if there's one thing we know about Origi, it's that he shines in the darkest moments. Fast forward to the 2018-19 season, Liverpool is down 3-0 against Barcelona in the Champions League semi-final, and their two main stars, Firmino and Salah, are out. The odds of a comeback? Slim to none. But Klopp decides to take a chance on Origi, and in classic clutch fashion, he scores not once, but twice to help Liverpool pull off one of the greatest comebacks in football history. That second goal, from a quick corner by Trent Alexander-Arnold, is etched in football history. Even Messi was left stunned. But it wasn't over. In the Champions League final, with Liverpool clinging to a 1-0 lead, Origi came on and sealed the deal, scoring a second goal with just 3 minutes left. Fun fact, he had only taken 3 shots in the entire tournament, and he scored with all 3. He became the first player to end a Champions League campaign with a perfect 100% conversion rate. That season made Origi a cult hero. He wasn't just a player, he was a symbol of hope, of showing up when everyone else counted you out. In the end, Origi's story is more than just football. It's about being clutch, stepping up when others won't. He may never have a Ballon d'Or, but he has something else. A legacy as one of the most beloved and unpredictable players of his era. So next time someone asks you who the most clutch player in football is, remember Divock Origi. He's proof that it's not about scoring every game, it's about scoring in the right game.